And we all want to pass TSI so that we are CCMR ready, college and career ready. This is our last time to take TSI, and if you don't pass TSI, not to worry, because you can still do the ACC final to qualify for that college and career readiness. All right, on to the practice worksheet. So question number 1 says, what's the median of the first 11 integers? First, let's think about median. Think about that silly song. What is the median? Median is the middle. Integers. What are integers? Yep. Integers are just whole numbers. They're counting numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's an integer. So we need to write out the first 11 whole numbers. To find the middle, you can just go side to side and you can mark off the numbers until you get to the middle one. And you can double check because you need to have exactly the same amount on both sides. And so it looks like I have 5 on this side, 5 on this side. So that makes 6, my middle number for the median. Question 2, a 6-sided die with sides numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is tossed. What's the probability of tossing a number bigger than 3? So we need to remember that probability is part out of the whole or the total. So how many total numbers are there? 6, okay. So our total would be 6. And then we need to think about numbers bigger than 3. So 4 is bigger than 3, 5 is bigger than 3, 6 is bigger than 3. So how many numbers do we have that are bigger than 3? 3. And if we did that as a decimal, then what would we get? 0.5, which is, oh, actually that reduces, doesn't it? What's that reduced as a fraction? Yep. And as a percent, it would be 50%. So I want us to be good at being able to identify it all 3 ways, because you never know how you're going to see it on TSI. The next question, which of the following is equivalent to? Obviously, I took off the multiple choice so we could practice. We have 2 fractions. So we have x over 4 plus 3x over 8. We cannot add those together because they are not like denominators. So how could we make 4 and 8 the same? Could we change one of them? We can multiply the first one by 2. So I get 2x over 8 plus 3x over 8. And it's still over 20, or sorry, still greater than 20. So when I put these 2 fractions together, the denominator is the same, so it will stay the same. And in the numerator, I have 2x plus 3x. So what does that become? 5x. So I'm going to think of it like an equation. So I need to get rid of divide by 8. So yes, I need to multiply by 8. So what's 20 times 8? And what's my last step? Yep, I'm going to have to divide by 5. So x is greater than what? Beautiful. All right, let's go on to round 2. Name something you wish was fat-free.
Burgers. Pizza. I was also thinking that chicken. Cake. Cookie. No way. Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna be.
Candy?
Yeah.
Beautiful. We
I
are
don't think we're
really,
gonna lose this.
I think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna win. And also, I am a terrible speller. So if we get to some crazy word we need to type in like engineer, then y'all might have to help me. You can't be mean because I don't spell good. And then you're not gonna be my helper. All right, question number 4. A purple bag contains 8 red marbles, 3 blue marbles, 4 green marbles. What is the probability that Trinity draws a green marble, does not replace it, and then draws another green marble? So probability is part out of the total or the whole. So how many total marbles are there? How many? Okay. If there are 15 marbles, and we want to know the probability that she pulls a green. So we got 4 green marbles. But then she's going to draw again. So she's going to draw again. We're going to have a second draw, but I don't have, if in my marble bag, I have 15 marbles, but then I pull out a green one, how many marbles do I have left? 14. Okay, so the denominator will change to 14. For this particular problem, I'm assuming that the marble I take is green, and I had 4 green ones. So how many green ones do I have left? So both of them change. When we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across. So I know the numerator, that one's easy. 4 times 3 is 12, but I don't know 14 times 15 in my head. So I would definitely need to type that in a calculator. I agree, 210. So we want to get that as a reduced fraction. You could start by dividing by 2 and dividing by 2. So type that in and see what it is as a decimal. What do you guys get when you type it in as a decimal? No, I did not cross multiply. I multiply straight across. 0.06 is the same thing as what percent? 6%. Very good. We need to be able to identify those all 3 ways because there are multiple representations on the TSI test. The next question, a map is drawn where 1 centimeter equals 3 kilometers. 2 towns are separated by 80 centimeters on the map. What is the actual distance between the 2 towns? So what we're dealing with is centimeters and kilometers. It tells us that 1 centimeter is equal to 3 kilometers. It also tells us that the towns are separated by 80 centimeters. We don't know how many kilometers. So you have to make sure that you're consistent. Centimeters go on top, kilometers go on bottom. You could have switched it, but you just have to be consistent. How do we solve these types? What? Yeah, bat and ball or cross multiply. You can multiply 3 times 80, and then we're going to divide by 1. 3 times 8 is 24. And then we add 1 for the 0. And then divided by 1 is just 240, so 240 kilometers. Yep, that's it. Question number 6. A band has 12 trumpets, 15 flutes, 16 trombones, and 7 tubas. What is the probability that if 2 people were picked out of the band, that the first student plays the trumpet and the second student plays the flute? So we need to know, because this is probability, part out of the whole or the total, what is the total? Mm-hmm. And so it says that the first student plays the trumpet. So there's 12 trumpets. And if we're going to pull another student, I had 50, but I pull out a trumpet. So how many do I have left? 49. Y'all are getting good. 49. And so the second student, we want to play the flute. There are 15 flutes. Fun fact, I played the flute in 7th grade.
Okay.
I have some really embarrassing pictures to prove it. I should see if I can find them. Maybe it was just 6th grade, actually. My mom had me in this nice velvet red dress to do a choir or a band concert. It was not good. Okay, we're going to multiply straight across because that's how you solve these. I don't know what 12 times 15 or 50 times 49 are. Mm-hmm. Those are definitely both going to reduce. You could start with just the zeros. Then then we're going to still reduce. Let's see. 18 over 245. I don't know that that reduces. I don't think it does. Well, we want to do it as a decimal as well. What is that as a decimal? And that would be what as a percent? 7%. Y'all are doing good. All right, let's go to round 3. Name a job that requires a person to know a foreign language.
Teacher.
Operator?
No.
This is a hard one.
You should get more.
I can't hear you. What?
Panic. Yeah. We're losing points.
I'm curious to see what the answers are. What?
White.
That was a tough question.
And we still win.
That was really a tough question, I feel like. Well, we got to go to the money round after this next set of questions. Yeah, that was tough.
I am the spy.
I kind of agree. That was a tough one. On to the back. A study was done of athletes stretching and injuries in the past year. The table shows the results. What is the probability that an athlete doesn't stretch. So remember, probability is always the part out of the total. So a person that doesn't stretch is going to be in this row. And if I'm reading it, the first number I come to talks about stretching and an injury. Does it say anything about an injury? So that column doesn't help you. The next one is no injury. Do I need that number? No, because the problem just talks about not stretching. So the only thing I care about is how many people didn't stretch. So it was 450 didn't stretch. And that's out of the total number of athletes. So how many athletes were there? 800. So yeah, a little more than half. We can start reducing it. We're down to 45 over 80, and we can reduce that further. What do we get? I think it's 9. But I think the denominator is different. I think it's 9 over 16. So yes, 5 goes into 9. Sorry, 5 goes into 45 9 times and then into 80, 16. And then let's change that to a decimal. I agree, 0.56, which is what as a percent? It's pretty easy to go from a percent to a decimal. The second one, it says, what's the probability that a person doesn't stretch and doesn't get injured? So when you're looking at two things, you've got to look at the table from two ways. Okay, before the first part just talked about stretching, so you just look at it one way. Now we have to look at it both ways. So doesn't stretch, doesn't get injured. So doesn't stretch, we've got to look at it this way. And then doesn't get injured, we got to look at it this way. So doesn't stretch, doesn't get injured is 219. Now, are we talking about all the people or only the people that don't stretch? Only those that don't stretch. So it's 219 out of the total that doesn't stretch, which is 450. We want to reduce that as a fraction. Did y'all know that the calculator will actually reduce fractions for you?
No.
Okay, I'm going to teach you something because this is a question on the ACC final and you have a graphing calculator on the ACC final. So let's practice so you know this super skill. You type in what you want. So we've got 219 divided by 450. We have to figure it out as a decimal. So let's just leave ourselves space and we'll go ahead and figure it out as a decimal. So type it in, you get the decimal. What do you get? Okay, 0.49. All right, now you press the math button. Math, it's on the left. Math, and then the first option says frac. So you press enter and then enter again. It's going to change that decimal to a reduced fraction. What'd you get? That's makes life easier, doesn't it? Math, enter, enter. And so it's also 49%. So whatever your fraction is, you can type it in, press enter, and it'll give you the decimal, which you have to figure out anyways. And then you can press math, enter, enter. I know, right? I actually have tons of calculator tricks that I can teach you, but TSI doesn't let us use those calculators. So for those of us that are still want to pass the ACC final, I'm going to start teaching them to you. All right, in question 8, 2010, a small college has an enrollment of 9,500 students. The declared majors are detailed in the table. Same table that we've been seeing. Same table you'll see on ACC final. So it says that the college created an initiative to increase the number of humanities majors to more than 28% Okay, so we really care about humanities. So we need to find 28% of the total amount of students. How many total students do we have? 9,500. So we got to find out how many would 28% be? And so the amount of humanities majors that we currently have are 2348, not quite. So we need to figure out how many more we would need. So what number that is? 2348 minus 2348. That's going to help us find out how many more students. Yep. So we're going to use the same verbiage as in the problem. It says more than 28%. So we need more than 500 or 312. So again, we're going to use the same verbiage that the problem says. We want more than 28%. Okay, well then we need more than 312. Do y'all want to do the money round? Okay, let's see. Okay, these ones, the things change. Name a food or drink that comes after the word hot. Okay, name a game show that has someone might say, describe their divorce. Okay. Do what?
Jeopardy.
Is that how you spell it, you think? Let's see. Name something you can honestly say you've never ridden. A bull? Bull?
Rock.
Okay. Like it or not, name a place people have to go. Oh, it didn't let us type that one. So we got 19. I've got to get my new leaderboard. So okay, so y'all are currently the leader. We'll have to see if y'all can beat my other classes. Well, I kind of agree. I was trying to think through why would somebody not want to go to the bathroom? Maybe like if you're in a public place and it's gross. That would probably be like if you're at your house, it's whatever. But if you're in public and it's gross, maybe that's why. So I'm still learning Jeopardy, or sorry, I'm still learning Family Feud. So I'm not very good, but I do like it. Do y'all like it? Is that fun? I thought that was kind of fun. All right, question 9. A cookie recipe calls for 3/4 cup of sugar for 9 dozen cookies. How many cups of sugar do you need for 12 dozen cookies? Well, for this problem, we've got cups of sugar. And then we've got dozens of cookies. But I don't want to say cups of sugar. I don't want to say 3/4. I want to change that to a decimal. What is 3/4 as a decimal? If you think about money, like it's 0.75. So 0.75 cups for every 9 dozen cookies. How many cups of sugar do you need? We don't know. For 12 dozen cookies. Okay, how do we solve this? Bat and ball. We can multiply across and then divide by the ball. So we got 0.75 times 12. Divided by 9. Okay, what's 9 divided by 9? Okay, so it's just 1 cup. That's it.
Or you could have recognized that 3 dozens equals 1/4 and just.
Yep, you sure could have. And if your mind thinks that quickly, that's awesome. You can write that down. The next problem, we're going to solve it 2 different ways. I'm going to solve it like with algebra. I'm also going to teach you how to solve it with a calculator. For those of you that have to do ACC final, you can actually use a calculator to help you solve these. So for the next question, we, to be able to solve, have to distribute in this 1/2 first. We get 2 plus 3x. We're going to just have the inequality symbol. It just kind of goes through the problem. So half of x is just half. And as we're working these problems, it's easier to use decimals because guess what? We've got a graphing calculator now. So we would say 0.5x. And then what's half of 11? If you have $11 and you split it in half, what's half? 5.5. We have x's on both sides of the inequality. We have 3 and we have 0.5. Which one is bigger? 3. So that's my magnet. It's going to pull this one over. So I can bring that over and subtract 0.5x, which means that the 2 has to go to the other side. And I'm going to subtract 2. This is actually math you can do in your head when you think about money. So if I have $3 and I take away 50 cents, how much do I have? 2.5. And then same thing here. If I have $5.50 and I take away $2, $3.50. All right. We need x by itself. So to get x by itself, I'm multiplying by 2.5. So I need to come over here and divide by 2.5. And that's my last step. Very good. Now I'm going to show you in the calculator. And this might blow your mind. Okay, I just need to find the link. Okay, computer calculator. Okay, does that say calculator? No. That? Okay, that's what I want. Okay, this is what I need. I don't need, never mind. Okay, so this should look like your calculator, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this. We want to type in, you've got 2 different things. Let me show you on your paper. We're going to type them into Y1 and Y2 in our calculator. So we've got 2 different parts. We have, we have that part and we have this part. We're going to say that Y1 is equal to the left. So it's 2 plus 3x. And then we're going to say Y2 is equal to the right stuff. And so what is 1/2 as a decimal? 0.5. It'll be easier just type it in as 0.5 and then x plus 11. So we're going to type these into y1 and y2. So I'm going to type these in like I see them. So I'm going to go to y equals, it's in the top left corner. And then I have y1 and y2. So in y1, I'm going to type in what I see. It's 2 plus 3. And then the X button you're going to use is the variable button. It's right next to alpha. It's right here. And I typed it in exactly the way I see it. And then I'll arrow down. I'm going to type in the second step. So 0.5. The parentheses are above the 8 and 9. X plus 11. Does anybody need help just typing it in? Y'all got it typed in? Okay, guess what? The answer to this problem is actually the X part of where these two sides, they actually create lines where they intersect. So the X part of where they intersect, that's our answer. So what I can do is I can go to the graph. Do you see on your graph that two things intersect? If you can see the intersection, then the calculator will give you an answer. If you don't see the intersection, we would maybe need to zoom out. And so zooming out is just the zoom button. And if you get to a problem where you're like, I know these are going to intersect, because maybe you see it and it's like this, and you're like, I know they're going to intersect, it just has to get further. Then you can always ask me, hey, how do I zoom out? But it's the zoom button, and then you arrow down and say zoom out. So the way we get our answer, we want to math something. We want an answer. To do that, we're going to calculate. See how right above the trace it says calculate? So we're going to go to second. You have to do second because the calculate is blue. Second, calculate. We want to find where they intersect. So second, trace 5. And then we're going to press enter because the first curve, which this is a line, but whatever, they're calling it a curve, yes. And the second curve, yes. If you want to guess, not really. And there's my answer. What's the X part of that answer? Bam. You like that, Jaden? Yeah, it makes it pretty easy. So as long as you can type it in and you can see where two things intersect, then the X part is your answer. How do you know that it's the X part? Because X is in the problem. That's why. So to answer this question, all you have to do is that you know that the problem is written and you know that the variable is X. There's an inequality. Okay, no big deal. I'm going to draw the inequality exactly like I see it. Then I'm going to use my calculator, type the stuff in, and then I just write down the X value. And there's my answer. Pretty easy, right? Anybody like that? That's fine. You can work it with algebra. It works with algebra too. Okay, question number 11. You know what? You guys had that skill in algebra 2 or in algebra 1 when you were back there, but probably y'all weren't trying to listen. It could have been helpful, but y'all probably were not trying to do math at that time. Question number 11. Write an expression to represent the perimeter. Okay, we remember that we will add up all of the p's and then all of the constants. So anytime I see a p just by itself, it's a 1p. So we got to add all those up. How many p's do we get? And then my two just constants, I have 5 and a 1. So 5 plus 1 is 6. Beautiful. So last question says, is your address correct in Skyward? If you know that it is, fine, no big deal. If you don't know if it is, then write your address down. Why? Because I will send you a congratulations for graduating card at the end of the year. It's a big accomplishment. It makes me proud if you can walk the stage. And even if nobody that you know is going to send you a card, I will send you a card. So I need to know your correct address. So write your address here, or if you know it's correct in Skyward, then you don't have to do anything. So y'all are going to turn this in and we're gonna take our quiz. Wherever you want something sent to.